Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CryptoNews pod. We're buzzing as always, and today we have Adam Ilenich, the head of community at Rarible, where he oversees social media marketing, partnership activations, and Discord, all while finding ways to be involved in events and new business as well. He also co-hosts Rarible's Monday GM Weekly Twitter Spaces. Prior to joining Rarible, he worked at the one and only Twitter, running the @Twitter marketing handle and producing some of the highest performing content on the channel. He has a bachelor's degrees in journalism and political theory from Michigan State University. Without further ado, I'm very pleased to welcome Adam Ilenich to the CryptoNews podcast. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Matt. How are you doing this morning?
I'm lovely. It's a good old Monday morning for Adam and I. Tearing it up. We're both, eyes are a little baggy, probably slightly over-caffeinated and underslept, but we're dancing and romancing. Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm excited for today's conversation.
Let's start with good old Twitter. Tons of Twitter in the news present day. And the bread and butter of that is our boy Elon, the Lord and Savior of perhaps our whole universe. He is very keen and very horny for this takeover. We don't know how horny he is anymore. Supposedly there's way too many bots. You had the opportunity to really work some magic at Twitter. I'd love to ask you about some of these conspiracies and some of these stories about the Twitter team and how everyone supposedly works 1 hour days and doesn't ship anything and lives the dream and gets overly paid. What was the culture like there? Did you ever have any run-ins with Jack Dorsey? Like, give me a couple good Twitter stories.
Yeah, well, I'll start by saying that there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there about tech and tech jobs. Tech jobs, tend to sort of have this mystery around them where no one knows what anyone actually does. A lot of people speculate on compensation, on benefits, on why, like Google, for example, or Facebook, for example, have these like amazing cafeterias that are serving restaurant quality food to their employees every day. There's a lot of confusion and swirl around that. But I will say that for the most part, Twitter was an incredible experience with people who worked longer hours than 9 to 5. I mean, the rumor that tech people don't work. I think, when it comes to marketing, especially, which was the organization that I was in, it was somewhat seasonal. So there were times such as, over the summer where we just didn't have like the volume of campaigns that we might normally have in the holiday season, for example, or the new year, or in the fall for back to school. I mean, there's like a lot of reasons why the marketing sort of industry as a whole like goes quiet at certain times of the year. And that's reflective of consumer behavior as well. A lot of times there's summer breaks. A lot of times people are taking vacation. So, this concept that people aren't really working, I don't stand by it. The team that I was on, very hard workers. But in terms of some Twitter stories, I did run into Jack once in the elevator. And he is, a little bit awkward. I don't, if you've ever seen interviews with him, he's just kind of like an awkward guy. I think that he sort of has one foot in reality and sort of the other foot like already in the future. He's just like, his mind is already buzzing with ideas and with different things where he's already like 5 years in the future in his own brain, but his body's stuck sort of in that elevator with me. So like, I said hi to him. He asked me what I did. I said that I worked on marketing. He said that he always laughs when he sees Twitter's tweets. I wasn't writing Twitter's tweets at the time, so I just sort of like laughed with him and didn't want to correct him. But cool guy, has a lot of vision. I'm not here to say that like all of his opinions are spot on in my opinion, but hey, he's a cool guy.
Built some pretty prominent and successful companies and quite the dude. Definitely living in the future. You're right about that.
Yeah.
What about this Muskie takeover? Are you about it?
I'm not about it. And I'll tell you why. There's one very particular reason. I personally don't really care like who owns Twitter from like a personal perspective. What I do care about though pretty strongly is just the commitment to things like health and safety. And so Twitter has entire teams of people who have really built their careers on navigating what conversation looks like in the public era, where anyone can really say anything and how do we handle that. So, if someone misgenders you online, if someone threatens you online, if someone, is revealing false information that could potentially sway you to vote in a particular direction. Those are all things that are fairly serious. And from the sound of Elon Musk, he's looking to take away all of the like sort of safe health and safety precautions that the team has built into the product to try to make it a little bit less of a cesspool, I guess we could say. Not saying Twitter is a cesspool. I think humanity can be a cesspool at times. But, even Facebook, even like larger tech companies have not cracked the code on how do we enforce conversation in a way that's not violent and aggressive. It happens all the time. It happens to many people. And it sounds like, from what I've read and the interviews that I've witnessed with Elon Musk, he's looking to make it more of like a Wild West where anyone can say anything, really leaning into like the First Amendment, which that is also not unfettered. You cannot, scream fire in a crowded building. So this belief that you can say anything at any time is just incorrect. And so I find that when you're trying to have a conversation, particularly with someone you disagree with, getting violent, using slurs, misgendering people, there's a whole host of ways in which the conversation becomes unproductive. And if that environment is allowed to thrive, I think people will ultimately leave the platform, which then would result in less monetizable daily active users, which results in less advertising revenue, which then results in a company with, decreasing profits. So I would say that I don't think it's great from a user perspective. I also don't think it's going to be great from a like operational product and just leadership perspective. But I mean, listen, he's down to take on that risk and to take on the bots, I hear. So
it's building on your points there. It's so difficult to find that healthy median between a wild, wild west where you can truly say anything and free speech is truly there and being censored. It's, I hate the word impossible, but I would say it's probably impossible. I don't think there's a world or just a place where that healthy median can live. I can't see it happening. And candidly, I don't know which one's better. I know right now we sort of have censorship city population us. I don't know if it's working too well. And again, we don't really know what the other end of the spectrum looks like with the wild, wild west. So I can't really chime in this regard. But the bots though, this is one thing that I just think is nonsensical. And I do not understand how Twitter doesn't fix this, because you go on any famous person's tweet and there's a million fake Elon Musks with blue check marks, mind you, or I guess white check marks on dark mode, tomato. But how the hell does Twitter not fix this? Like, it is so apparent. And I know the reason is because, if we're deleting bots and if we're deleting bot posts, what if they're real? But it's like, dude, just friggin' wakey, open up your eyes. They're so clearly fake bot posts. Adam, how is this still a thing? This is bonkers in my mind.
I know. I wish I knew more about the ways in which Twitter is working on this particular issue. Just being in the marketing team, like a lot of what we were doing was brand marketing. We were not focused on the product or on the technical side, really. I think with my limited understanding of how this works, there is a number out there. I don't have it offhand, but I'm sure at some sort of like earnings report or yearly report, you can see how many new accounts were created in that quarter, how many new Twitter accounts. So if someone has a verifiable phone number, an email address, and the account is sending tweets, who is to say that it is a bot? I don't know personally of any like technical way to determine whether or not it's a bot or a human. What I think is interesting about Web3 is there actually are companies who are coming out with ways of verifying identity and verifying humanity. But then on the other hand, you also have a lot of people who are saying, oh, I don't want a KYC. I want to have anonymity. Right. I want to have the opportunity to do whatever I want in the safety of my anonymity. So how can Twitter say that you're a bot or not if people don't have to force themselves to prove that they're human? So there's almost like this impossible task of people saying they want anonymity, but they don't want to deal with bad actors who are also anonymous, who are creating bots. It's really a tough challenge.
Crazy. Let's buzz over to crypto Twitter for a second. I friggin' love crypto Twitter. It's not as fun as it used to be. Obviously, when we were all making money, it was a hell of a lot more fun, right?
Yeah.
That's
R.I.P. the bags.
That's pretty par for the course there. But do you ever find it interesting that Twitter is the wild, wild west for crypto? Like, I sometimes think, I'm like, what if it was Insta? What if it was FB? I know, Telegram, but again, it's different. But like sort of the public facing domain and arena of crypto is Twitter. It's where you have to be. You don't have a choice. I don't think there are any prominent accounts that don't run on those. A couple of people have, decent sized TikTok followings or decent sized Insta followings, but it's really just crypto Twitter. When you were still at Twitter, did you see this phenomenon catching on? Like, you ever thought about where and what social media platform could potentially house the crypto wild west?
Yeah, while I was there, one of the big reasons I decided to leave and actually move into a more Web3 native role, I'm working in NFTs, which is not exactly crypto, but definitely crypto adjacent. I saw the conversation happening, and Twitter actually did several campaigns because Twitter itself looks at what is the conversation on our platform, what are the keywords that are most being used over, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, et cetera. And so Twitter came out with its own collection of NFTs that were dropped on Rarible that sort of referenced the history of Twitter. So there was one that's sort of like the reply guy. There was another one that was sort of like the bird logo. There were several of other ones, but all of them were really cool. All of them, had like a lot of great texture, a lot of great art. And so once that came out, I want to say it's 2022 right now. So I want to say that came out in 2021. And then earlier this year, also Twitter integrated the hexagon PFPs. If you have Twitter Blue, you can connect your wallet. You can verify that you have an NFT. You can then make it your profile picture to cut down on people just using any random JPEG as their PFP. So I think for me, seeing those two things from Twitter sort of back to back, I was like, okay, Web3 is real. Like crypto is real. NFTs are real. I'm curious about getting into this. And then, when it comes to Twitter as a place for people to talk about Web3, it makes a lot of sense because, Facebook and Insta have moved to become primarily visual platforms, similar with TikTok. And just like crypto and NFTs, while yes, a lot of times like NFTs are, unless you're just posting charts of like daily moving averages or like other like random visuals, you're not going to get a lot of traction. You need the words, exactly. And so Twitter became a very obvious place for people to talk and you also get memes, you also get technical analysis. You get a lot of people who are able to debate about, I come from the NFT world, so it's more about, building community than it is really about like the technicians talking about, whatever bear flag patterns they're seeing that day. But all of this to say, you needed the words, and Twitter just happened to be there. Another interesting component, I think, too, is Twitter still has the millennials who now have the purchasing power to be able to spend on things like crypto. I think TikTok a lot of times skews younger, maybe even like high school age, college age. Those people do not, unfortunately, the vast majority of them have the expendable income, to spend on crypto when it's so volatile. And so I think, Twitter was just right time, right place, right medium. I don't think there's anything about Twitter in particular that sets it apart other than those things. It was sort of a happy accident, but I think Twitter will take the action. It will take the action.
One of the things I love about crypto Twitter is the jargon as well, like the memes, the shit posting, the jargon. I feel like this is one of the areas of Twitter where if you're a normie and you come in, and you're a rookie and you follow, like when I have friends who are like, hey, how can I learn more? I just literally go to everyone I'm following, or I'll invite them to some lists I've created on Twitter, and I get a text the next day and I'll be like, what the fuck are these people talking about? They have no clue what is going on because the jargon is absurd. Like, will this ever change, or do you think it's just going to keep getting worse? Personally, I can't see it. I think it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. There's more new crazy terms that pop up every single day.
Yeah, I kind of like it. This is where sort of my community side starts to show. In any sort of community, this could be like scientific communities, this could be like legal communities. There's going to be jargon that are just particular to that world. When you are watching a case right now, I've been obsessed with the case happening in Wisconsin with Darrell Brooks. And the judge is constantly using these legal terms that I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what that means. So I need to go like look it up and learn what this means if I want to be, in this world. Or it could be, my partner is a physician. He works with animals. He's a vet. and he does surgery, and sometimes he's telling me about a procedure. I don't know what he's talking about. But when it comes to crypto, because I am in that community and I'm a part of it, I'm actively a part of it, I know what it means, and I get hyped when someone, I don't know, there's even earlier today, I think I used the term daily moving average or something like that in the crypto world. And that's more from my side of watching technical analysis on, Bitcoin's price, ETH's price, etc. But it actually makes me feel a part of something. And for people who want to join, it almost is like a test of well, how willing are you to actually learn how we talk in this environment? And then how willing are you to stick around? It's almost like a little bit of a test, and I'm here for it. I'm going to be honest.
It is a great shit test. It really is. It's no different than going on those first couple dates where it's all right, how many green flags are there? How many red flags can I put up with? It's no different. It's can you put your big boy or big gal boots on and go through the shit of crypto Twitter and learning and Googling what all these words mean or cross-referencing different tweets. It's interesting and it's fun.
Yeah, I would say that people are also super open to having conversations because this industry is unfolding faster than even the internet came about. The adoption of crypto and crypto adjacent industries such as NFTs, it's happening faster than the internet. So literally, I could say that I'm in the crypto community or the NFT community, and tomorrow some new thing might have happened where I don't even know what that is. It's because it's developing so quickly that all of us are actually this is where I think WAGMI comes in. We're all going to make it. And now I think it's just we are going to make it. But I think it's sort of a nod to this fact that it's all happening so fast. All of us are willing to sort of help each other put the pieces together. But if the information is out there, I think there is also sort of a healthy level of DYOR, do your own research before coming into this space. Don't just show up one day and expect people are going to tell you what the good trades are, tell you what the merge was all about, tell you about what the Lightning Network means on Bitcoin. It's sort of if it's out there, you can go do the research. But if you want to have a productive discussion about what's coming next, what you think the implications are, those types of things, I found that people are very open to that.
Well said there. You have a proven track record on and in building communities, which is so paramount to success, and I feel is becoming more important than ever. People are realizing the importance of digital communities, and our IRL communities are becoming smaller and smaller and sort of less important as we spend so much friggin' time online. With that being said, people in your position are getting paid a pretty penny to do a very difficult task, and that is build communities. I'm going to throw a shitty question your way here, but what are some of the sort of most low-hanging fruit tips you can give myself or anyone else who wants to build a community? Not even in Web3, just in general, building online digital communities. Where do you start? What tips do you have? What should everyone do?
Yeah, I think the lowest hanging fruit right now is just replying to tweets. We've just spent a lot of time talking about Twitter. Twitter is where I would recommend that community be built alongside Discord. Now, there are obviously for Web3 companies, there's a lot of alternative options as well, which we can talk about later if you want. But I would say that Twitter and Discord are the main ones. And the most low-hanging fruit is just to reply to someone who either has a question, who has a comment, and just let them know that you see them. I think there's nothing worse than if you think about it in IRL terms, walking into a networking event where you don't really know anyone and you try to walk up to someone and ask them a question and then they completely ignore you. If that happened to me, I would just leave. I would just walk out. If the first person I spoke to was that cold that they didn't want to even answer my question, didn't want to, not that there needs to be fanfare, but if they didn't want to engage with me, or even if I walked up to the host, that's even a better analogy because,
you are
our Twitter account
or the host, right?
We're the host. Yeah. I'm the host. Yeah. My team is the host. Someone walks up to us, says hello, we ignore them, they're out. We have lost that person probably forever unless there's some financial incentive to come back. And so the most low-hanging fruit.
It's so rare online,
is
though.
Just say hi.
It's so rare. And I'm terrible at this too. I'll get replies and I'm like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. But and it's no excuse. It takes 20 seconds to get your Twitter fingers buzzing and write a friggin' tweet, There's no excuse.
Yeah, I think low hanging fruit is really like for the people who are starting out. I would say like for someone like you or for someone like Rarible, like we have to be a little bit more strategic because we're getting hundreds, if not thousands of replies a day or native tweets or, pings in our Discord about things that, are already answered in our FAQs. Like there's a lot of reasons why we might reply to one thing versus another. And that's where like scalability comes into it. Like for example, with our Discord community manager, his name is Six. He's doing an incredible job of integrating technology into our Discord that proactively answers questions, that proactively finds, conversations previously in our Discord that are sort of in the same vein as what the person's talking about now. That way a person doesn't have to be doing it every single time. Because if someone, if 10 people ask the same question, but it's already covered in our FAQ, and we can just have the FAQ answer immediately pop up automatically, that to me is like, okay, we're doing a good job because it frees up time, it frees up space to do more strategic, more direct one-on-one work where the community building actually needs to happen. So low-hanging fruit is just like reply and be present. Then like the next evolution of that's like the Charmander, and then there's like the Charmeleon, which would be like be strategic about what you engage with, and the way that you do that is with like scalability tools. And again, as I've mentioned, there's a couple out there, but one of the ones that we're looking at right now is how to integrate technology into our Discord that will surface information, because our Discord, a lot of times people are asking for help. They're looking for help with their NFTs, with minting, with auctions, etc. All of which is information. There's no reason my community manager needs to sit in there all day and just answer questions. We're allowing those people to get the answers they need, and he can work on more of like the one-on-one stuff, which is, I think, where the magic of community is.
Really good points there. Really, really good points. Especially the one-on-one is so key. And the other, I find the biggest issue with community building in Web3, I guess and in general, is how quickly you can lose someone, right? It's like, it's so hard to get them in. And once they're in, all it takes is literally one bad touch point, or not even a touch point, where two other community members can be causing a little shit show between themselves. Adam rolls in Matt's community and says, I ain't about this life. You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy. Any tools, but you mentioned Twitter, you mentioned Discord. Do you have any other piece of software that you use to really help?
One thing that I'm looking into right now is I'm looking into like more Web3 native tools. And what I mean by that, we spent a lot of time talking about how Twitter is really the home of the Web3 conversation. Discord, I think it's an obvious one, although Discord would, I think, serve its community well by investing more into security and trying to figure out ways to get in front of hackers. Now, here's the thing. This is the same, in the same vein as what we talked about with Twitter with the bots. Discord can build the most incredible security system, but there are people out there who see it as their job to break that security system, or who have fun doing it. You can't get in front of everything. So, all of us can be like, why isn't Discord more secure? Same reason why Twitter has all these problems with bots is there are people out there, unfortunately, who make this their goal, who make this their life. And some of them end up making millions of dollars off of it. Because when you have a scam that is successful, we had one in Rarible in our Discord earlier this year. There was a malicious link that was posted. People thought it was a free mint. People didn't lose that much. I want to say across, maybe a couple hundred wallets, it was anywhere between $7,000 and $8,000, and we refunded everyone, of course. Nice. There are always going to be security issues that happen. But what I was going to say was, I'm right now looking into tools like the Lens protocol. This is spun off by the team behind Aave, and it is a Web3 on-chain social network. Where like anything that you sort of like, imagine that you're like sending out a post, you're sending out a tweet, it's some type of content, you own that. So ultimately, someone else could mint your content and then you would make the money off of it. There's a lot of interesting ways why that is cool for Web3. It's on chain. And those are the types of things that we're looking for, because I think maybe in 2 years, in 3 years, in 5 years, the adoption is going to be much more mainstream. And so why not be there now? Of course, we're still taking care of our Twitter, our Discord, our Instagram, but getting into these other platforms early where the adoption's quite not there yet, but will be in a little bit, that's what I'm focused on.
I'm on Lens protocol right now. Beautiful website, great branding. cheeky, simple. That's a great shout out. I'm gonna do some more work into these. Before we get into Rarible, we got to give a huge shout out to our sponsor of the show, and that is Prime XBT. You guys know I love Prime XBT. Been using them for a hot minute now, as they offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. Doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet, you can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XBT is also running an exclusive promo for listeners of the CryptoNews podcast. Use the promo code CryptoNews50, that's CryptoNews50, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Again, the promo code is CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Now back to the show with Adam. Adam, you and the team just had a very successful launch on Rarible 2. The aggregated marketplace that also whipped up a token program as well, featuring RARI. I love the name too. I just think of Ferrari. And I know it has nothing to do with Ferrari, it's Rarible, but when I see RARI, I think Ferrari. I think the token name is incredible as well. I'd love if you could explain what exactly Rarible 2 is and why you guys decided to go the route of an aggregated marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. So we sort of have this dual route right now, and it's sort of similar to what I was talking about with community, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a little bit. So we have this aggregated marketplace, which we're aggregating listings from OpenSea, LooksRare, X2Y2, SudoSwap, etc. And this just aggregates all of the liquidity from across all of the different marketplaces to give consumers the best prices. And then when you add the token rewards onto that, it provides them with even more value, let's say, even more utility. So it's better than just the aggregators themselves that exist. We're offering these lowest prices with perks on top of it, which would be the RARI or the RARI. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure what the official name is. The people that I've spoken to within Rarible have said RARI. So one of the two, RARI or RARI, up to you. But really awesome, because I don't think that anything like this exists quite yet. A lot of times, other marketplaces, I don't need to name names, but other marketplaces will incentivize people to list and buy on their particular marketplace, but there's no way to sort of earn on other aggregated listings. Right. What we've done with Rarible 2 is for the listing rewards, of course, it needs to be on Rarible, but for the buying rewards, as long as it's within one of the 5 RARI rewards collections, the item can be listed anywhere. So it's really incentivizing buying and incentivizing buying at the lowest price. And we think that's just giving value back to, our community. We know that, it's a bear market. We know that crypto is down. We know that like pricing a lot of times is a lot more important than maybe it was like 6 to 8 months ago, when all of us were rich and we were just like minting whatever, we wanted for fun, just because that's not the reality anymore. So offering the best prices along with this token reward was really something that we thought the community would like. And we think it's been pretty positive so far. On
your end specifically, and we'll get more into a couple of the key features here, but on your end, marketing this launch, that's a pretty big step, because this is massive news. How long did you guys have this whipping up on the back burner? Any lessons from this launch that you wish you would have known beforehand? Anything? Any good stories from it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Rarible is like any other Web3 company. It's a startup. Web3 didn't really exist. I mean, you can go back to like Bitcoin, you can go back to Ethereum, but really like these marketplaces are maybe 2 to 3 years old, maybe a little bit longer than that, depending on where you look. But these are startups, and so whenever you're coming up with a big campaign, there's a lot of cross-functional work that needs to happen. So you have marketing, who is, running the creative, who's running the copy. You then have product, who's actually building the product. Yeah. You then have our strategy team led by one of our co-founders, Alex, who is spending nights poring over the tokenomics and all of the different contingency plans for, what if this happens, or what if that happens, and how do we protect against wash trading? You have our legal team. I mean, to anyone's listening who's worked on a big campaign before, cross-functional work can be really difficult without processes and without owners in place. And so, for this particular launch, we started, let's see, what month is it now? October. I want to say we started in maybe July, maybe end of July, early August, when we did our readout of our Q3 roadmap to see what was the product team going to build, and then how was marketing going to market it. And we figured out that this aggregator would be huge for our business. And then we also knew that Alex, one of our co-founders who leads our strategy team, that he also wanted to find a way to reintroduce the token from the DAO, the RARI DAO, the RARI Foundation, because there were trading rewards up until January, maybe 15th of this year. It's a decentralized DAO essentially that decides on how token rewards are released. And so, the DAO voted to stop those in January. And then, we put together this comprehensive plan. There were proposals that were put in front of the DAO. And so, we had this great stroke of luck where we said, let's market the aggregator and the token together. And, all of the proposals passed, which was fantastic. It really shows that the community was supportive of the vision that we were bringing forward. But yeah, it was, working at a startup with all of those different people and opinions, and without, understanding who the final approver is on certain things, it can definitely be challenging. But ultimately, we delivered from the product perspective and the marketing perspective. And I'm super proud of the team and happy with that.
Hey, happy for you guys. Quick, little off topic here on the Magic Eden sort of Banana Lands shit show. I don't like saying it, but it was an absolute gong show 2 weeks ago. What's your take on that? Like that was pretty crazy. That was top of the headline for crypto Twitter for a while, with the no creator royalties anymore. You think every marketplace is going to follow suit with that? Like, what was the deal there?
Yeah, royalties are a really polarizing thing, and I don't entirely know why. I can sort of see this race to the bottom when it comes to platform fees. Like a lot of marketplaces, OpenSea has like the famous 2.5%. Yeah. There's this race to the bottom with like no platform fees. And I think ultimately that's just trying to get user behavior to come to that particular marketplace and trade. So essentially that's the reason for that. I think, X2, Y2 or SudoSwap, I don't know which was the first to introduce like optional royalties, but that was pretty, I guess, prolific just in terms of the movement forward of you either pay royalties or you don't pay royalties. Now you can choose when you pay royalties. And I think Magic Eden has landed here as well. I could be wrong because it's hard for me to follow like everything that all of our competitors do.
No, that is, you're right.
Yeah, I think they've landed in a place where they're now, it's now optional and it's reliant on the community. I would say there's probably a large percentage of people who just want the cheapest price. And so they're going to opt not to pay royalties. And I'm not here to tell them that that's wrong, because whatever people do with their money is their choice. What I will say is I think paying royalties to artists is part of community. We've been talking about community this whole time, allowing people the opportunity to make money off of their art every time it trades hands. I think that it's allowing people who maybe have never had a chance to make income like this an opportunity. So I would say that when it comes to artists, to me, it's very clear that royalties should be respected. Now, when it comes to collections, I have a slightly more nuanced view, and I'm not entirely sure where I personally fall, to be honest with you, because if I'm looking at, let's say Yuga, let's just take Yuga as an example. They probably have, Bored Apes probably have a 5%.
They don't need our money. They don't need our money. If there's a small creator, yes, I would love to give he or she my money, but I am not giving Yuga Labs 2.5 ticks. Fuck them.
I know.
You're worth $1 billion. You don't need my money,
That's what I'm saying is it gets kind of complicated. You have successful projects like this. You have successful projects like Doodles. I have a Doodle. I love my Doodle. I'm very excited for, everything coming out of that collection. But then you also have projects that are just launching that, they have a certain amount of money to pull from when they mint out. So let's say, they made 50 ETH when they minted out. They retroactively back pay the team who's been working on this for months. They have, an operating runway of, let's say, just for example, let's say they have a runway of like 5 months, 6 months, whatever. Once that 6 months is over, if royalties aren't coming in, they have an option to raise capital other ways. They can sell merch or they can go to VCs. And I don't think VCs are going to be the way that this space evolves in the way that all of us want it to.
Right.
And so if we all want to keep the money and we all want to keep the liquidity sort of contained within the people who believe in this space, then you almost have to pay royalties. Because if you don't, it's going to come from somewhere else. And once you introduce competing interests that are way more centralized, this entire space falls apart. So it's one of those things, it's sort of like Twitter. It's sort of like democracy. If everyone did what was good for everyone, we would be in great shape. Instead, you have people looking out for their individual interests, again, their bags, which I'm not going to fault them for, but I want everyone to know that if each individual makes that same choice, we're going to end up in a position where these projects are going to run out of money. They have to take money from other centralized places, and those centralized decision makers are going to make decisions about our space eventually at scale that all of us may not benefit from. So that could be one place where this leads. And I think that's kind of scary. But again, when you're buying, that, or selling that Bored Ape or that doodle or whatever it is, that royalty hurts.
It truly does.
It's a tough one, I would say, for artists, for fine artists, for creators in that way that are not like 10K PFPs. Absolutely support, no question. When it comes to collections, it's a little bit more nuanced. But yeah, the bigger ones, I really can't say that I think they need them. I'm curious, though, with the speed of development that I mentioned earlier today, I would love for there to be some sort of development where royalties are enforceable at the contract level. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if people can find a way around that. People are creative in this space. It could be possible. We'll see.
Well, one of the things that a lot of communities, and we'll call them communities and where companies are doing, is they're creating their own marketplaces, right? Like with MFers, Robotos, Meta Angels, DGen Ape Academy. There's media as well. You have your comics and gaming with Pixelvault and Immutable X. I think this is great. It's very hard to implement. It's not easy building a beautiful marketplace on your website or within your app. But then there's the age-old question, and coming from an e-commerce background like myself, it's like when we wanted to put our product in front of the most amount of eyeballs possible, there's one spot, and that's Amazon, right? Your own webpage is never going to get more eyeballs than Amazon. However, you have to bite the bullet, right? And it's like, at what point do people go, all right, I'm not even going to list them on these centralized exchanges or non-community marketplaces? What's your 2 cents on that? Because it's such a fine line to tread there.
Yeah, community marketplaces, and that's what I was going to say. Thank you for reminding me. This is what I was going to say earlier when we were talking about Rarible too. There's this sort of aggregated model that really leans into scale and providing people with the best prices across really the entire internet, across Web3. The other product stream that we're sort of building is these community marketplaces, which are very unique. They're very tailored. They're very like custom experiences for people who are in these communities or want to be in these communities to experience the brand of this community without all of the noise of other collections, without all of the noise of other platforms, of jumping here, jumping there, jumping around. So I think both product directions have merit depending on what the buyer's ultimately looking to do, or even like I call them like the shopper. Doesn't mean they're going to buy necessarily. But I think, these community marketplaces are really awesome ways for people to experience the brand of the NFT that they're going to get without all of the other noise. And also there's like technical things we can do on these marketplaces. For example, with the MFers, you are respecting royalties. However, also the way that the marketplace is set up is that when you buy an MFer through the marketplace, part of that transaction actually goes back into the MFer community treasury.
Yeah.
And so you're joining us a community, you're supporting that community. And ultimately, it's your decision on whether or not you stay in that community. But I think there's really cool ways, to fund projects. MFers is an interesting one because it's CC0. It has always belonged to the community. Yeah. But, the floor price definitely dipped after Satoshi left. It was around like 4 over the summer, and I think it's down to like 1. I think, the MFers are always going to just like be dope and be cool, and they're always going to build, and they're always like not going to care about floor price, which is one thing that makes them actually super cool. But that was just one example where, you know, if you buy an MFer through the Rarible marketplace, part of that money goes back to funding the community so that it can keep on building value, which I think is great.
Adam, what a treat, man. Really appreciate your time here. This has been awesome, truly awesome. We always have a segment on the show where we jump into the hot take factory and throw a couple hot ones out there. It doesn't have to be crypto related. It can be sports, politics, food, geography, weather, you name it. Give me a couple Adam hot takes that only you or a couple other people might believe in that most people don't.
The first one is that the number of followers that you have on Twitter doesn't matter. And I say that for individuals and collections. You know, when I'm talking to like early collections at Rarible and they're like, oh, we're trying to grow our following, we're trying to do this, we're trying to do that. Focusing on the number is the wrong thing to focus on. Focusing on quality interactions, and this is sort of how we started the segment, focusing on quality interactions will give you the numbers. So like cover the numbers with a piece of paper if you need to. Just keep replying, keep engaging, keep building, and the numbers will come. That is probably the one that people are most surprised by. Working in social, working community, there's a lot of these vanity metrics out there. Anyone can buy followers. It doesn't matter. I mean, that was a big tactic like 15 years ago. No one cares. So the number of followers like doesn't impress me. It's like the quality of the content and the quality of the interactions is really what matters. And that's what I try to instill in my team. Another hot take. My favorite city apart from New York is Tokyo. I was there 2 years ago, and I was trying to go there a couple months ago for my birthday, but Japan was still closed. I think it's opened up, so that's probably the next trip I'm going to take. Is I'm going to go over to Tokyo and just like hang out, eat good food, enjoy the culture. Yeah, dope. And my last hot take is that I think Bitcoin is going to continue to lead for store of value. I don't know if like anyone can build anything on top of Bitcoin that's going to be usable, Lightning included. I think ETH is going to be sort of like the transaction layer where people are building dApps, and that, once Vitalik and the Ethereum Foundation build everything that they plan to build, I think it's going to be like just the place where people go, similar to like an Amazon or a Facebook. ETH is just going to be the chain where people go. I will say that I'm like very confused about Cardano NFTs. I'm like looking into this more. I'm like, maybe I need to like tell Rarible that like we need to integrate Cardano because the community's demanding it. But yeah, I think Bitcoin and ETH are sort of like where I see like the future of crypto going. Solana, wallet popular, just has too many outages and hasn't sold me from like a security perspective. And so I'm not really going to transact there. And then Cardano is just a wild card, and I need to learn more about it.
I can't give you my 2 cents on Cardano. I haven't done enough research on them. Right now, I'm not a fan, but again, I don't know enough. Adam, appreciate you, man. What a really fun time. Before you go, can you please let our listeners know where they can find you and Rarible online and on socials?
Absolutely. So me, myself, and I'm at Adam Ilenich. And then Rarible is just at Rarible, Rarible. Matt, what is your Twitter, just so that I can follow you?
I'm at Matt Zahab. Zahab is Zahab. Nice and easy.
Followed. I love it.
Adam, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
So much fun.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you
later. Can't wait to have you
later.
on for round 2. Folks, what an incredible episode with Adam Ilenich from the one and only Rarible. Also had some time at Twitter as well. Pretty darn cool, folks. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking of the team, love you guys. And tell the listeners, keep on growing those bags and keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Bye for now, and we'll talk soon.